Welcome to Snip and Sip, unfiltered hair chat for the other 95%. What does that actually mean?
The other 95% is talking about every single person in the hair industry, not just those top social media stars or top award winners. In Australia, we are so lucky to have these amazing figures, but what about everyone else? What about those hairdressers that just love hairdressing so much? They love to do their clients and they're so passionate about the industry. We kind of felt like there wasn't anything for them and we weren't hearing or seeing their voices. So we made one.
Perfect. Well, we're your hosts, Danielle, and this is the always fabulous Gabby.
Today we're going to be discussing sustainability and is it a trend or here to stay? We're going to be talking about, is there a right reason to adopt sustainable practices? What sustainable practices actually are, the support systems that are available, who even cares that we're doing it, and is it all just smoke and mirrors?
Thank you. And to help us with this today, we have some amazing hairdressers and business owners in the industry. So we've got Blair, who's come in from Canberra, from Pura Holistic. We've also got from across the ocean, we've got Abby from So You Hair in New Zealand. And then we've got Gemma from the other side of the country, and she's from Ardor Organic.
Amazing. How exciting, guys. You excited?
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. So to start, we're going to play a little bit of a game, kind of like a family feud kind of vibe, you know, like a survey says, yep. So your name is going to be your buzzer. And so we surveyed 100 people, well, not we, but the internet, surveyed 100 people and asked them to them, what does sustainability mean to them? Like what is it? So I want the top 3 answers. Can you guys give me one? What does sustainability mean to people? The definition. Go.
Blair.
Yes, Blair.
Recycling.
No.
Oh gosh, I'm surprised.
Not in the top 3.
I thought that would be everybody's.
No.
Wow. That was what I was going to say.
Come on, I'm leaving you. Let's go.
Oh. I've just got a complete mind blank.
I'll go Blair again.
Yeah.
Low tox.
Yes, I would say, yep. Number 3, reducing pollution and clean environment. Okay. So that was number 3. We've got 2 more. I'll give you the first one. Better for the planet.
Right, okay.
This is very
That's what they think sustainability is. It's better for the planet.
Gemma.
Yes.
Better for your health?
No. It's better for the planet, protecting natural resources, reducing pollution and clean environment, and cutting emissions.
Oh.
Were they like drop-down answers that they could pick from?
No, there was like 10 more.
Wow. Really? And that sustainability recycling was in there?
Recycling was probably like 8th.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So I thought that was really interesting that what we think sustainability is, like we think the first thing we think about is recycling, wasn't even on there.
Wow. Well, I thought recycling, because that's not the first thing that I think of, but I thought that would be the first thing that other people would think of, right?
Yeah, right.
The lay person would think of, yeah.
Yeah, well, here we go.
Okay, that is interesting.
Yeah, it's no secret that hairdressing industry is moving to a more sustainable way of being. But what we want to really talk about is it actually just a buzzword? Are people doing it because they think it's trendy? Do people actually care, or are your clients asking for it as well? Something else that I think is interesting is the amount of greenwashing that's going on, which is basically when a company says one thing but does another. One of those that I think is a really good example is a company that uses heaps of plastic that's not 100% recyclable, yet all of their advertising and everything they do is all about sustainability. So it'll be interesting just to explore those sort of topics and what it really means, not just what it looks like on face value.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen much greenwashing happening?
All the time. Yeah. And I feel like people do it because they're thinking that, I just need to do it, but they don't actually even live it or preach themselves out of the salon.
Ticking a box.
Ticking a box. It's like, okay, clients are searching for that on Google and they're searching for salon, so if I become part of that, then my name goes on there, so then people will come and find me.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they don't go and then walk the walk, and it's like, well, it's, you still need to kind of know what you're doing and be able to kind of like still do it outside your life as well.
I think there's different levels of being sustainable as well, and I think when people first explore being sustainable as an individual, you'll start off with, okay, what can I recycle? What can I do? And then the more you go into it, the wider your knowledge and experience of being sustainable becomes. And I think the companies that just whack on sustainable on their products don't actually appeal to the true people who live, eat and breathe sustainability. They're going to essentially just take that top layer of cream of the people that just want to be cool and just have something to say, oh yeah, no, we're sustainable.
Yeah. And don't use the products that actually utilise that as well. Like go to a high tox product that's not got that ethos.
No.
But then we can just use the sustainable salons to sort it out.
I think some of these are a great starting point for people that don't have a lot of awareness or they don't really know what to do. But I think there is a lot of greenwashing because when people don't understand and they don't look, okay, well, is the business sustainable? Is every aspect sustainable? Am I being sustainable in all aspects of my life and my business? And, sort of questioning all these kinds of things. I think there's a lot of trust that goes out into what people tell us rather than us sort of, well, I say us, but, as a collective researching what could be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a bad thing that people are greenwashing? Like, is it a bad thing that they're saying that they're sustainable, they're getting the sustainable message out there, but they're not actually walking the walk or talking the talk? What do you think?
It's hard. I feel like people should learn and want to educate themselves, but at the same time, I guess if that's what can take to potentially reduce some of the impact that we're having on the world as a whole, then it's probably good. But I think it just comes down to that education more as well. I feel like we need to kind of, maybe even it's just because no one knows, we just need to maybe spread the message out there more.
Yeah.
I think that, sorry, you go.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, I think some of the messages are a great starting point, right? Without going down the rabbit hole too much, though, the messages are mixed when the energy doesn't match.
Exactly. Yes.
So, everything's obviously energetic. Again, without going down the rabbit hole too much. But so I think things could move a whole lot further and faster if the energy matched the message.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah. Do you feel like it's diluting the sustainable message?
Yeah, because I think people genuinely believe that they are being sustainable because they are believing the marketing, they're believing, like you say, they're trusting who they're consuming from. And for somebody who, like we say, is at the beginning of their journey and maybe is time poor and doesn't have the energy to put in the research to find out, okay, they're saying this product's sustainable, but actually, where is it made? What is it made with? All the other questions that follow on from that. So
They just don't know to ask them.
exactly, and I think it's very easy to go, oh yeah, I'm totally sustainable because so-and-so said so.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the thing, isn't it?
But at the end of the day, if the message to all people, especially our younger generations, is that sustainability is of utmost importance, then we just need to make sure we educate them better so that they grow up with the right information.
Educate.
And then it becomes normal, right? It becomes normal, like who doesn't recycle? Because it's just so normal now.
Yeah. I know someone in particular that has an amazing business. I'll shout her out, Belinda from Hello Bleach. Hi. You guys know her,
She is amazing.
But so many people don't know how amazing she is or how amazing that business is because of, I would say, greenwashing. Because everyone's, her message is lost in that the bowls and brushes that she makes by hand are like 99% recycled plastic, sometimes 100. And that message is lost in how important that is because there's other people running around saying, oh yeah, so's ours. There's not that kind of like how amazing it is that hers is 100% because there's those other people that are just saying, yeah, so's ours. And it's like 2% organic.
And often theirs is considerably cheaper.
Exactly.
And so it becomes the easy choice because you're being told the product you're purchasing is sustainable and it's a fraction of the price of something that is truly sustainable. And so that's often the avenue people will take.
Yeah.
So that's a really good point about price, and you guys are business owners, all of you, so price is something that you're considering a lot in your salons. Yes. When it comes to being sustainable, what sustainable practices have you brought into your business, or have you seen that are amazing, and are they costing you money? Are they making you money? Like, what's the vibe?
So we do a couple of different incentives in the salon. On Tuesdays, we let our clients bring back their old bottles with us that they've purchased from us, and we'll recycle them for them, and then we offer them 5% discount on their next purchases, just to really incentivize that they're actually going to recycle those bottles. Yes. Because you can go through TerraCycle and I think Swatchcloth have partnered together, and you just send back a box to them, and they'll recycle it all for you.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we do that, and then obviously we have our refills, but we try to make it a bit more fun because we have little incentives every day. So we have Earth Hours on Thursday nights, and that's 5 to 7 p.m, and they can get 25% off, or they do 10% on the refills every other day, just to try and really create more of a community, few little things to really incentivize. But that's on me, like that cost comes from me. So, but I feel like if it makes it a bit more fun for clients and they're getting something, then they're going to want to do it a bit more.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, like with sort of the businesses that I know that we have, people often come to us for that specific thing. So, we do a number of things in Salon as well, other than a recycling program, and the like the water saving, those sort of basic starter level things that a lot of people are doing. We do have a refill station, so we give 15% off when people come in refill. We now have got a little worm farm set up on the go, so we compost all our tea leaves.
Where's the worm farm?
We've got it at the end of the building. I spoke to the landlords and they've let us set it up, which is super cute.
That's cool.
Sorry, rewind. Who was looking after the worms?
They look after themselves. You put the tea leaves in there, and you do a little bits and pieces, but
they're pretty self-sufficient.
I'm just imagining like a first-year apprentice, like her job every day is to like feed the worms.
No, you just tip them in there, and you put bits, and then off they go, and they go into the garden. They feed the landlord's garden. They love it.
Is it
underneath the ground, Gabby? Underneath the ground.
Oh, is it in a secure area?
It's dug into the ground.
Oh, it's dug into the ground. Because I've got nowhere like that at work, and I really want to do that.
Yeah.
But I think you can get hold of your local community gardens and take your stuff there as well.
Yeah.
We were doing that for a while, but where I'm from in New Zealand, there's a huge coffee culture. And so for a while, about 7 years ago, we were able to keep our coffee grinds and pass them off to local community gardens for composting. But now all the coffee companies are literally giving away bags of their grinds. And so it's kind of like there's so much coffee. We're all kind of competing now to give away our coffee grinds.
What else can you do with coffee grinds?
It's one of those things.
Body scrubs.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, body scrubs.
You can.
I went to a cafe the other day and they just had their box out the front of the thing saying take home if you would like.
Yeah.
Just get your little
You know what you could do is then put like a little recipe and be like, if you want to make me, do this.
Get people to bring in their old jars, put a little jar container.
The jars are so great for reusing and repurposing in those ways. And so actually that's a really, really good idea. I might take that home and
gifts.
One idea we did with jars as well is we started propagating all our plants in the salon, and all the little bottles and jars we had like them all lined up around the whole space, and then we gifted them to the clients for Christmas.
I tell everyone that
story. And then we've got a client who makes candles in the jars, lots of different things. We have I'm not sure if it's everywhere, but there's a program called Lids for Kids. I don't know if everybody else has that, but all the little lids they take and they utilise them for kids' things, just like the little caps and stuff.
Oh, like milk cap, like milk.
Yeah. They use them for crafty things, and
that's cool.
That's so cute.
That's actually a good idea.
I think it's just about looking. For me, I look at everything I bring in, and I go, okay. I actually don't look at price first, if I'm being honest. I go, what's going to be in alignment with my values? Are they sustainable across all aspects, where possible? And is this going to add value to the clients? Does that make sense? So it's kind of like that people and staff alike, obviously, that people and planet first look. I mean, obviously we're running businesses, so we still need to be sustainably in profit and income, but that's kind of what
Do you feel like your customers are more likely to pay more? Like, are they happier to pay more if they know that you're doing the right thing?
Yep.
Yeah, you attract the clients that align with what you do. And so I think we probably are at more of the hardcore end of sustainable hairdressing. But it means our clients trust that we've done the research, we've done the legwork to look into all the companies, the ethics, the processes, to make sure that from the very moment something arrives in our spaces, there's a plan for its longevity and a plan for the client, and they'll pay whatever they need to pay for that.
Which is actually a good segue to sustainable salons. So there are actually support systems which are available. We've got sustainable salons and waste free. I'll let you elaborate on waste free because I know you've had a good conversation with Bernie.
I did have a really good chat with Bernie. He is awesome. He's based on the Sunshine Coast, and most of the stuff he's doing at the moment is still in Queensland, but he's kind of going down to New South Wales and then hopefully Victoria soon as well, maybe Canberra.
What about WA?
Perth will be 2 years.
New Zealand, you can meet him in 10.
We're so far behind everyone.
But he does this really cool thing, and he is collecting everyone's all hair salons waste, but he actually makes like prosthetic hands from them. Don't ask me what happens with the hands after he's made them. But so he's making these prosthetic, like robotic kind of hands. I'll put a link below so you can see them. And yeah, it's just amazing to hear what he's doing with the waste and how it's actually now supporting and helping the community past the hairdressing kind of world. He also has an app, I think it's called the Green app, and you can go online and you can see the impact that your salon's having on the universe and the world, but also what's happening closer to home, and how you are actually improving it. So it's cool. It's for like everyone, not just for people who are using waste-free systems. And yeah, it was really awesome to talk to him. He knows absolutely everything. You know those people when you get on the phone to them and you were like, oh my God, you're a genius. That's how I felt when I was talking to him. It was so, so cool. And sustainable salons. Are you guys all with sustainable salons? Yeah. Yeah, cool. And what was the reason that you guys chose to go with them?
For me personally in Canberra, so a salon I previously worked at, I had a look for ways to do it ourselves. And so I'm ringing around and asking, and everybody's taking you think you put the plastic in the recycling bin, but it literally all ends up in landfill. And then all these different things, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try and find somewhere that will take the hair so they can turn it into hair brooms, or if I can take it and they can turn it into compost. And I wanted to try and keep it local, but I literally couldn't find anyone to do those things. One time I took the hair home to my own house. It looked like we'd killed a possum and it had been there for like months and months and months and months and months, because it doesn't break down easy, guys, don't do that. I was like, the nitrogen for the soil. So for me, it was just having something a resource that I could actually utilise. But beyond that, I think it's just a starting point for me. I won't keep talking, I'll let somebody else talk about it. But yeah, like obviously that's just that sort of that recycling starting point.
Yeah. Abby?
For us, it was literally, and it still is, the only option. So for a number of years, like yourself, Blair, I was looking for ways of doing it myself, and like other salons in the area, we would bag up all of our aluminium waste and we would take it to the aluminium recyclers, and there was one place that would melt down all of the aluminium, so your foils with colour product on them were able to be recycled.
Really?
And that was amazing, and that was, it was huge for everyone in Wellington especially. And then they stopped doing it. And we suddenly had all of this waste because, as you know, we produce an enormous amount of waste, and we had nowhere to put it. And at the time, because obviously in New Zealand we tend to get things way after Australia, sustainable salons was already a thing. They had started introducing it slowly into New Zealand, and it was mostly Auckland based. And at the time when I first looked into it, I felt that the waste was still being taken over to Australia. And so the carbon footprint for me was still too large. And I felt like I wasn't really achieving much. It was just becoming less of a problem for me. But morally, I wasn't actually making any difference. And then I explored it again early last year, and these were the questions I asked. And I said, where are these items being taken? Because they will recycle 95% of your salon waste. So everything but food. And for me, it was knowing the journey of my waste, because it's very easy to say, yes, we will recycle your stuff. But where it goes once it's collected can sometimes be a lot of smoke and mirrors. Yes. And a lot of companies will say, yeah, no, we totally do recycle, and you know, it's fine. But actually, there's no transparency. And for me, I needed the transparency of knowing that actually we were recycling genuinely and we were reducing our impact, and that what was happening with our waste was then going on for purpose. Yes. And so I really do like what they offer. I like the transparency around where the waste goes and what they do with it. And it's a great talking point for clients in salon as well. You know, we say they see us sweeping the hair into a hair bin and they're like, you recycle here? And then, you know, you get to say to them, yeah, it gets turned into a boon that goes into the ocean. And they're like, wow, that's really cool, because these are the things that your day-to-day client would never know or hear about. And again, it comes back to us educating.
Absolutely, clients love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Gemma, what about your Sustainable Salons journey?
So it took a while for it to come to Perth. And when I first started is when I was a home salon. So I was just trying to do bits and pieces myself. And at that time, you had to have a certain amount of clients to be able to become a sustainable salons. So I wasn't actually allowed to be one when I was at home, which eventually I did end up getting it at home. But we were just trying to do what we could. Same thing, like I had people taking home, you know, tea leaves and hair and that kind of stuff to put into compost and that kind of stuff. And then trying to do the TerraCycle with Swatchcough incentive, but you could only do so much. And then I just found it also became quite hard because we're trying to do this all out of our busy schedules of what we were doing ourselves. So for me, Sustainable Salons just makes things a lot easier. I don't have to think about it. The girls don't have to think about it. We can do what we need to do and it's done. And I really like it for that reason, because it is a lot. It's not like you can just grab it all and just take it to one place. You've got to go take this to there and that to there. And
the time that it takes, the time investment on you as the owner is just not worth
it's not the stress.
The cost of your time.
Exactly.
Do you still have to wash the foils?
No. Just roll
I
them.
remember as an apprentice washing like full heads of foils. I would have to wash all of the foils and I can still feel them. I have cuts, like foil cuts on my hand from like the foil, and then the bleach would get into it, and I'd be like, please, do we have to do this? Like, yes.
And again, that would really detract from probably 99% of salon owners, because if you've got a member of staff spending that time doing that when they could be doing something else, as a business owner, you're probably going to opt for them to do something else.
I think it was almost a bit of a punishment for me. It was like, go in the corner and wash the foil. Shush for 10 minutes.
This will keep it quiet.
The foil didn't actually need to be washed. It was just a make-believe job.
It was just made up for Gabs.
Catch you quiet for a few minutes.
Yeah, exactly. But you did say about the cost. So obviously it's not free to join Sustainable Salons. I literally know nothing. What is the cost of it?
So the cost comes from based on how many clients you have visiting the salon, and it's $3 per client. But the clients pay a $3 green fee. So it doesn't technically come out of what the salon would make as profit. It's an additional on top of the bill.
A surcharge.
And so, a surcharge. So as long as the clients understand and know what it's for, I find that my clients are pretty happy.
Yeah.
I've only been abused twice.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Once like, you may as well cancel my appointment then. I was like, okay, that's fine.
And for $3.
Yeah. Wow. That's what I just, and you know, sometimes with the girls, the team at work, sometimes, well, in the beginning they used to get really nervous saying it, so we had to do like a couple of role playing and be like, this is what you can say when someone says it. But I feel like I said to the girls, the people that come here and they're the ones that are our main clientele. You can't take away from those couple of people that you that might not
they just don't align.
Nah, it's education as well. I think, you know, if you educate on more of the things, like I know Sustainable Salons, they feed homeless as well. So there's a lot more to it, and which is another reason why I really like it, because it's not like there's a little bigger picture to the company.
Yes.
So I think once you say that to people, you're a bit of a jerk if you say I don't want to pay it after that.
If for $3 you don't want to have that much impact, you're probably not really the client for my space.
Yeah, and do you know what? Like they go buy their coffee from the cafe. How much? I don't drink coffee, so what is it, like $6, $7, something like that? I'll make you one. We make them one for free with our coffee machine. And then there's you know what I mean? Like it's like you don't have to pay for your coffee. You're already saving money. You're going to pay to save the planet instead, right? So
yeah, it's a non-brainer for me. But I have to say we haven't had any pushback. And that's been really, really positive that clients are just like, yeah, we are so on board with this. But I think once you explain the why and the how, they're like, for $3, sign me up.
Yeah. I'm so that client as well. As soon as somebody tells me, like, this is, I'm like, sure, take my money.
I always say it's your little bit to help, you know, the earth. $3 to help the earth. So, you know.
Definitely. I just worry that with all of these initiatives and incentives, and it just goes back to the greenwashing, that these companies, and not saying that that company is one of them, however, I do worry that there's companies that say that they're doing certain things to help people feel like they've ticked the box, but there's no actual, there's not people pushing for that why and the evidence and the detail, and that's all I am worried about with the rise of these sorts of companies, is actually knowing has that been used or exactly where did it go and getting the detail.
It's the accountability. There needs to be, and I think that's probably where we need to look in the future, is to have some level of accountability that we can hold people to that say, okay, well, you're saying that you do this. Well, we as your customer need to be able to hold you accountable to that. And it, you know, there should just be a standard. So, and that would really help with the wishy-washy greenwash. You know, the ones that aren't, they're not really putting much effort into the greenwash. They're just slapping sustainable on things and just kind of hoping that people don't pay too much attention.
Don't ask the question.
Yeah.
I think it's the biggest thing is like people, and there's not a lot sometimes that do ask the questions, but, and it's the same with like the products, like it's like, well, the reps need to know what they're selling as well, and that when the questions asked, they know those answers. Because I've asked reps questions before, and they're like, "Oh, I'll have to get back to you on that." I'm like, "Shouldn't you know this? Like, surely in your whole time of you being open and this happening, you would know the answer to this, or been asked at least once."
I will say that trying to get information about sustainable salons is impossible.
Is it?
It's incredible.
It is so hard. If you're not a member of Sustainable Salons, like if you don't have a sustainable salon
membership.
You do not, like, they will not tell you anything.
Interesting.
And I'm just trying to know, because I'm in salons every day talking to people. I'd like to be able to talk to people and be like, oh, I've really heard about Sustainable Salons. These other things that they do. Could not tell you. What I know about it is what you guys have told me.
Oh, really?
And what you sent me. That's it. Wow. They don't send you anything if you're not a salon.
Even the detail, because I love the detail.
Do you think they would want to educate more to, even if it's not someone that they don't, like even if it's like we don't support them, like at least people can then go and find other options, those that maybe can't, like a home salon like me.
Yeah, I just don't think we should be gatekeeping any information. I think, you know, with
Transparency.
100%, and sing it from the rooftops.
And that's what I'm like, sing it. Tell me. I actually saw them at Hair Expo last year, and I started asking them like more probably in-depth questions, and they'd shut down, they would stop talking to me.
Interesting.
I know, and I was like, I really just want to, this is my job. Like, I do this for a living, I really want to know more.
I promise you I'm not a spy.
Yeah, who am I spying for?
It's strange. It's strange because you would think, you know, if you are already leading and paving the way in that area of industry, surely you would want other people to be able to look at that and go, hey, what can I do to elevate this? Or what ideas can I get from this? It's weird that they would gatekeep so hard. What are they hiding?
Even for consumers, I feel like this is something that should be consumer driven too. Like it would be nice for customers to have the option to search for it and know fully, completely and believe in it, and only go to salons that use them. I know for myself, if there's a company that seems to be withholding information, it can make me feel like I'm losing a little bit of trust.
100%.
And trust is so important. You know, I think one of the things that I am really passionate about is not being detail focused. I'm so passionate about it that I forget so many details. So I have to have a lot of trust in the people around me that if it's something super, super, super detailed, I know that that person has done that aspect of it, and I can trust that they have got that covered.
Absolutely. And you're paying them for that expertise and knowing that they know what they're doing. So if you feel like that you're paying something and then you're not completely sure of where it's going, it just doesn't sit right with me personally, but I absolutely love the message that they're giving, and I love that they're bringing up the conversation, because I feel like I didn't hear much about sustainability in the hairdressing industry until Sustainable Salons started pushing it. So although there is this sort of transparency with information, I do feel like it's a great message, and I would rather people be talking about it so that people can do the right thing.
Well, Sustainable Salons, call me. Call me.
They're going to be blowing your phone up now.
No, but seriously, call me.
That transparency needs to come across all things, not just what we're doing with the products after it's the products in the first place. And I think what a lot of people need to look at is what companies they're buying from. Because if you don't have the plastic bottle in the first place, you don't need to put it in the plastic bin, right? So it's like, I mean, our plastic bin does not fill up like hardly at all, really.
It's usually just food. Cartons for us from people's lunches.
Coke Zeros.
Looking at those.
As the metal bin.
that is the metal bin.
Don't put those in the plastic bin.
They go in the
Coke Zero.
Oh, no, you're doing bottle.
The bottle.
The bottle.
Remember, it comes in two.
I prefer
the lid
a
goes
can.
in plastic.
I was going to say, ew.
But if you go to
the wrong bin. Yeah, but I think that transparency needs to come across everywhere, because the problem is too many people believe what they're told, and rather than research. So, we can put a product out there. I say we, but again, somebody else, not me. But a product out there that perhaps is advertised as low tox or eco. Like, what does that even mean? Like, okay, right? So,
nobody knows anymore.
right? So low tox could just mean that it just doesn't have sulfates, right? Fragrance, exactly. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's got beautiful nurturing ingredients that help to heal, if that makes sense. And it also, it's all well and good to have those ingredients, but then why is it in a plastic bottle? Or, what's a sustainable business practice looking like? All of these kinds of things. So I think that transparency needs to really happen a lot more everywhere. And then people really sort of need to question and go, okay, cool, well, this is low tox or organic, but what do those words even mean? Right? So it's like
organic's another one that's just been mutilated.
It only has to have
it
such
doesn't mean anything anymore.
A small percentage of organic ingredient needs to be in the bottle for you to put that on the label. Whereas with certified organic,
some certifies it's such a small amount. And you've got to know your certifications. And I'm probably very different to you, and you love the research. And which is why I surround myself with people like yourselves, because I do not love the research, and so I'm that person that will take people's information, and so for me that level of trust has got to be so high, because I'm probably not going to do the in-depth research that someone like yourself would do. But again, with low tox, that's a new word.
That is a very new word.
That's a new word, and that's really interesting, because when you think low tox, you think, okay, I'm not putting really harsh chemicals on my hair. When I think low tox, I think endocrine disrupting ingredients.
absolutely.
But your general person's probably going to go, what's an endocrine disruptor?
That's exactly right.
And it's probably going to go way over their head.
Yeah. I had to stop using the word low tox in my Googling, because they're like, they don't search that word, Gemma. Because when I started my business, people would come to me and go, what does low tox actually mean?
What
I'm
does
like,
that mean?
lower in toxins. So I started saying lower in toxin salon, because I was like, no one even knows what low tox even is. So
I think the important part is you're completely right. It's not just ticking the box, going to sustainable salons or waste free. It's a decision as part of an individual choice from the start to the finish. It's the products you pick, whether they use plastics or recycle, or what they do as a business, as well as being able to find the initiatives that support your business.
It's full circle.
Yeah, it's like, how do they treat their workers? Is it fair trade? Is it like, it's all these things in one. Yeah.
And it shouldn't just be up to you guys, like the business owners, to carry that entire load. Like,
But we do.
no,
But we do. Because the ones
should
if
be
you want
up-
to make a difference, that's unfortunately what you've got to do at the moment.
Yeah, and then you have to find the staff that are just as passionate about it. Otherwise, and we've probably all had them, you know, employees that maybe don't care as much.
Yeah.
And when you have all of the processes and systems in place around sustainability and on how you work, they don't necessarily buy into it, and that can be super tough.
They don't believe it themselves.
Yeah.
And it's hard because it's what you're portraying
It's
as a company.
your entire business is based on, you know, a value system.
Yeah.
And you've got to really make sure that you're hiring people that align with those values, because otherwise it just doesn't
I think
work.
that's the number one thing they've got to be aligned with. And, you know, and when I actually interview people, I say, this is what we're about. If that doesn't suit you, that's okay. You know, if you say, I don't want this job here, that's okay, because it needs to be aligned. Like we have this conversation. Yeah.
I do feel like it's a journey though, like with everyone. So someone could be at the beginning of that journey.
Totally.
And that's okay.
Some say, I don't know enough about it, but I'd love to learn.
Yeah.
Great. Wonderful.
I definitely take the entire thing for granted. Yeah. Like my whole hairdressing life pretty much has always been in like a salon that is so sustainable. I'll go to another salon and be like, what do you mean? Where's your recycling bin? Like, where's your solar panels? Like, it's just so normal to me. If I went to another salon, I'd be completely weirded out. Like,
That's right. Yeah.
you know, your apprentices aren't washing the foil. What?
Well, hopefully it just becomes the new norm though, you know, right? We're
That's
paving
the
the way for
dream.
the future and getting that message out there, really.
Yeah.
I think if there's more accountability around companies and more transparency over what they're actually doing, then I think it will help
100%.
our industry moving forward actually be more sustainable.
Just keep asking why, and if you don't want to, surround yourself with people that ask why.
So feeding, right? Some salons have no awareness of what the impact they're actually having. Yeah. So it's just like spoon feeding those facts. You can't convince, like I can't sit there and convince an orange to turn into an apple because it's just not going to happen. Yeah. But if I left an apple on the tree long enough that was meant to turn red, it would go from green to red eventually, right? With enough nourishment. So it's kind of like that. It's
Great
like
analogy.
Yeah, just sharing that kind of those spoon feeding those facts, so that then more people become more aware. Yeah. Rather than I'll tick that box and this is like rather than a trend thing. Yeah. And I think, you know, going back to without going down the rabbit hole, energy is that when we have that attitude and we're living within our values in all aspects, energetically everything just flourishes anyway, rather than doing it because it's trendy or money making or using, or it's, you know, getting into the craze of the industry. Does that make sense?
They need to really get into the tastes, because the young ones all want to change the world these days.
They do.
So if you
They're
can get
so
into them,
passionate.
Yeah, and I think then they kind of filter it through the salons and all that kind of stuff.
It has become a unit in the hairdressing apprenticeship.
Oh, has it?
Yeah,
That's so
sustainability is a full unit now.
That's good. That is really good.
You're right. The young people are, you know, really passionate. If you have a look at the ones that are out there perhaps protesting on different things, they're that sort of younger generation.
They genuinely
it's amazing.
care. Yeah. And I think having more people that care being fed the right factual information will just grow the industry enormously. Yeah. And a byproduct of that is that we are serving our planet better.
Yeah.
I feel like the younger ones question a lot more as well. I don't
Yeah,
think I
they
used to
wanna know-
question anything. No. I'd be like,
I still don't.
you're still in your 20s. Totally. Like definitely now that I've gotten, like, since going into my business, and probably since I actually had my first son nearly 13 years ago, that's when I started questioning the world. So I was like,
Kids change your mindset,
Yeah,
don't
you're
they?
trying
Because
to tell
you're
me
just
that-
like,
yeah.
what are we leaving for them?
So there's the message. Everyone have kids.
Yeah, exactly.
But not too many because it's not sustainable.
I think you guys are killing it in so many ways, but one of the ways that you do is because you're putting your money where your beliefs are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like you are really being really intentional with where you're choosing to kind of spend your money. And I think that's something that everyone needs to do is like don't support the people that aren't supporting your values, you would say. Yeah. And I'm probably a really bad one for doing that. In like just, I'll go to, I don't know, AliExpress or whatever it is to get something because it's the cheaper option when really we should be kind of moving towards.
Everything is choice, right?
Yeah, but sometimes you can't. Like the thing is as well, some people just, they have to go where they're going at the time because it's what suits their lifestyle. So it's kind of like there's no shame around what we do, but it's just about trying to do.
It's the awareness
trying
that
to
surrounds
trying to just do that little bit 1% better, just in little bits. You know?
And people sometimes don't actually know what they're doing is, probably not the best option. So it's like I said, it's just that's nourishing, that spoon feeding information, not shaming, or it's about educating and helping, because a lot of people genuinely do not know.
Even if it's just not using that plastic straw, there's no, I think there shouldn't be any judgment, and sometimes there can be.
Any difference is a difference, and you do what you can with the means that you have. And I think, there's, like we said at the beginning, it's a journey, and everyone's on a different stage of their journey. And if you're at the beginning of your journey, that's great. And you're going to take baby steps, and you're going to do small things one step at a time. Yeah. And all we can do is encourage people to take those small steps. Nourish.
Absolutely.
That's the theme of the
Nourish. Nourish.
Nourish
So,
to flourish.
in saying that, we do have some resources available to help you on your sustainability journey, which will be located at ecosalonsupplies.com.au. We do have a link down below as well. And everything that we've mentioned today, we will be putting a link there and more information too. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.